So when it comes to like, let's say if you're a beginner, you start training, you don't know where to start. I'm speaking to you guys right now. There's all this confusion between should I start with heavy weight? Should I just do higher reps? Should I do all these different things? Okay. I hate to be blunt and I hate to be simple, but the fact of the matter is, all you need to do is get your ass in the gym. Okay. If you're like going from nothing and then you start doing something, you're going to see results. Okay. So try not to worry about that right now. Okay. You just want to get in the gym, get moving, even if it's to a case, because this is what happens, right? This is one of the reasons why most people don't follow through with stay with training. It's how they've chunked it in their minds, right? So they've chunked it in a way where it's like, okay, why don't you go train? Like, I'm like kind of like the why guy. Ash, why don't you just go do it? You know, why not? You get speaking to them. It's like, well, I haven't got the right clothes. I haven't got a gym membership. I'll have to drive around to find the right gym membership. Then I'm gonna have to find a right trainer. I haven't got the right shoes either. There's certain supplements that I haven't took, and there's all this stuff, and then I've got to get to the gym, and then I've got to go on the treadmill, and then I've got to wipe it down because someone sweated on it. Then I've got to go shower, put my sweaty clothes in the bag, and then go stamp my ticket at the guy, and he's going to miss it and have to come back in, and then have to drive home. Whereas it comes to eating food, it's get in your car, drive, sit down, eat. Going to the gym is 200 modalities. Going out eating is 2. So that's the difference. They've linked so much pain towards like going to the gym, or I think one of the problems is we see it as like we see gym, we link pain, obviously because there's a pain that's going to be associated to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a good pain in a way because you're getting strength from it. But we think we have to train like Mr. Olympia to get the results when it's just not true at all. We don't have to absolutely go in there and absolutely go all the balls in, if you like, just go straight into it and just go absolutely nuts. No, it's not the case at all. It's not required. You don't have to do that. If you choose to do that, that's different, But don't get me wrong, you're gonna have to train hard, to get results. But it's like you don't have to train 7 days a week, full ball. That's just not true, So, but anyway, so let's say we're just gonna start. You want to start the gym. A lot of people are going to straight to, because obviously they're covering the modalities of when it comes to like getting results. The first part is, here's the things I want you to remember then. Here we go. So what I'm going to tell you is a lot of people are going to say diets first, the training, but all this other stuff, they're going to tell you different things, right? The fact of the matter is wherever you start is good. Start's good. That's the key to remember there, right? Whatever you do, if you're starting, it's good. If you're making progress, it's good. Okay, but I think most people, what they try and do is they overwhelm themselves. This is why they stop going, if that makes sense. They kind of like they overwhelm themselves that much that it's just like, oh, you know what, this is too much, and they just stop going. So a lot of people will start to go, you know what, I'm just going to diet really hard, I'm going to train really hard, I'm just going to go full in, and then a couple of days in, a week in, 6 weeks in, they quit and they stop going. Because they are so exhausted and they've just completely overtrained their body to the max, So I tell people, as a rule of thumb, and again, take this for a rule of thumb, if you're just starting, let's say, or you're stuck, don't worry about the diet so much right now. I know, it sounds a bit conflicting. What I'm saying is, if you're already at like let's say you're already eating so much food, let's say you're eating like, you're up to like 3,000 calories a day. I'll talk about more calories in a minute, right? What they are and stuff, right? You got 3,000 calories a day, and this is, you don't lose weight, you don't gain weight. This is like you're stuck, okay? And you want to lose some weight, okay? Instantly, people want to go on a diet. Well, if you look at the first letters of diet, most people don't want to do that, okay? Too much pain there. It's too quick, too sudden. All I say to people is just get moving. Even if you're eating the same, okay? So at the end of the day, if you just start going training and it's not even that intense, you just start moving, you start going there, you do a little bit of cardio, and you just go to each machine and you do whatever, 3 sets, let's say, just give yourself a number, 3 sets, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 on each one. You might do more, you might do less on each one, some might feel better, and just start a routine of going in, doing a bit of cardio to start, and then go around the machine, and then maybe a bit of cardio at the end, okay? Because what's going to happen is what people don't tell you, and what they realize is because they're going to overwhelm you, is that what's going to happen is you're going to create this threshold already. If you're going to eat the same, let's say you're eating this, then you've trained, you've moved, you're actually now down. Let's say you've burnt a couple of hundred in there. Now you're down at like you burnt 300 calories. So now you're already in an energy deficit just by moving because you're not used to it. Just a little trick there to keep your mind satiated when you're going to the gym. Go, oh, what's the point? I need to change my diet as well. Eventually, guys, yeah, you can tap into that. Get that routine down first. Get that mastery of going down and pushing yourself, and just really get into like something you enjoy doing. Again, you don't want to do something you hate. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I'm not even saying go to the gym either. I tell people, if you do cardio, let's say, you want to just lose some pounds or whatever, find that sport that you used to enjoy, or find a sport that you enjoy doing. Just go, you know what, I'm going to take that up. It's much more fun. I always tell people, if you can do something more fun, go ahead, baby. It sucks being on a treadmill, like, just standing there, walking, yeah. But me personally, I actually like to be outside. I'd take being outside on a treadmill any day, But again, just remember this. I'm hoping you can see this. Can you see the board? Okay, yeah, you can see that sound. Just remember that, guys. And again, for the first month, just move. First couple of weeks, first month, move. It might be against what you've heard before. I'm telling you now, that's going to be more effective than anything. Again, once you establish that, then you can start to go, okay, what can I taper off? What can I taper off? What can I replace? We don't want to lose anything, especially when you're on a diet. Because if you really are dieting, that's why I always say the best way you can do is certain swaps, food swaps. So let's talk about, obviously, when it comes to, building muscle, right? Let's say you're at a point now where you've been training for a couple of months or a couple of years. You're kind of like a, intermediate with it all. And you've kind of hit a plateau. And you're kind of doing the high reps, the high volume approach, where you just come in the gym and you just do high reps on everything, okay? But there's no intensity, right? No intensity meaning you ain't taking anything to failure as such. So your body's going to adjust no matter how long it takes. It could be 6 weeks, 6 months, could be a couple of years. Let's say you'll respond from this style of training. Then you're going to reach a point where you're going to have to mix up a little bit, okay? So this is where, say, like the Arthur Jones, Mike Mentzer, Dorian Yates methods come in, where it's high intensity stuff. I personally am a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of all styles of training. Because again, it's like whatever gets you in the gym, whatever gets you training is the most important thing, okay? But when it comes to like taking stuff to failure, let's say, what this entails is basically a more high intensity approach where you're doing less volume, more intensity, where you're taking that again, one set to true failure. Okay, so let's say we're doing a chest press. What I mean by that, if you're not too sure, if you're on the bench, okay, you've got 3 sides to the movement. You've got the up bit, which is the positive side, okay, which is the first part, which is the weakest side of the movement. Then you've got the static, which is the hold, which is the second strongest part. Then you've got the negative part. Okay? That's the 3 parts of an exercise. Positive, static, negative. Okay? So what happens is, as you'll notice probably if you've been training, you're quite experienced, you're going to come up to a point, the positive's going to fail first, right? You're going to get to a point where you can't lift that anymore. But, again, that's the weakest part of the movement. You'll notice you'll have much more in the reserves on the down. So once this side is, the idea is like taking stuff to failure, is making sure all these parts are depleted. And that's it for 1 set. George, you go off 1 set because you can't do 0 sets. You start with 1. If you need to do 2, you can do 2 eventually. But I would start with 1 and see how you get on. Me personally, I only require 1 set because it's like, again, as long as I know I can just go out, all out. But bear in mind, guys, quickly to mention, you must warm up. Obviously, I'm not saying just go in and do 1 set failure. No. Don't take. I would do as many warm-ups as you require, whether it's 2 sets, 3 sets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever how many sets it takes for you to do that warm-up, mentally prepare, make sure everything's all warmed up, like I say, you're moving okay. Then you would go for the 1 set, just to be super clear, okay? Don't go in there and just do 1 set to failure. That's asking for disaster, okay? But again, The other problem is you're gonna need a spotter with this. That's the only thing. You're gonna need someone to spot you, but it's only for one set. And you don't have to do to failure to every exercise. You can choose 2 or 3. That's what I do. And then the last ones I kind of just go to a positive failure, then just kind of, if I go to a positive failure, I'm like, okay, and I try and push for another one. If I can't get another one, I'm like, okay, that's it, it's depleted. Okay, so it's still going to failure, it's just a positive failure. Okay, and that's still good enough. If that's all you can achieve, that's fine, that's all good. Just go for that, okay? But again, once you've got that spotter, and you want to be pushing for anywhere between 6 to maybe 12 to 15 reps, depending, because sometimes you might feel like this way you're doing progressive overload. You know what I mean? You're still gaining that overload, whether you're doing the same weight at 15 reps or heavier weight at 6 reps. Your muscle just knows failure. Okay, hope that makes sense a little bit. So again, you get that spotter. You do as many as you can on your own. Stick to the bench, everyone knows that. And as soon as you can't hold that anymore, you're going to get the spotter just to tap you up. Don't take the weight, just to tap it up. And you're going to hold it there a minute, and you're going to do a nice, slow couple of negatives. 2 or 3, and by that point, as soon as you can't hold it there anymore, that muscle's completely depleted, racket, you're done, move on. Okay? So, that, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to train. But again, that's very taxing on the body. So this is where we got the split between the Mike Mentzer high-intensity route, let's say, or Dorian Yates methods, versus, say, the Arnold, which is the high reps, 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. So, my opinion is in between those is the answer for you. Some people are going to respond more to the high-intensity method rather than the volume method, okay? So how do we get around this? Here we go. I'm going to give you the answer now. The best trick ever. And a simple one, okay? Way we get around that is you do both. Okay? You do both. So here we have training, high intensity training, Mike Mentzer method. Then you got volume. Okay? So, again, once you've established a pattern after everything, and you want to keep your training, keep getting results, this is the key, in my opinion, because there isn't one style of right training. But what we want to do is blend the both. Why not? I've not heard anyone say that. There's always arguments between, no, you must do this and you must do this. I got best results from doing both, because this is too taxing for too long. This is too underwhelming for too long. Right? So what you want to do is peak at each one. So you don't want to have to force yourself to back off, because eventually you can only do this style. Because as a natural bodybuilder, obviously you can push for this. That's the idea of, if you're not natural, let's say, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not natural, you can push for this, and you can hit the gym 6 days a week, because it involves recovery. That's what those special things do. They enhance your recovery. So that's why the question is, like, well, how come these people can train so much? There's certain things that they can take where we know about, and I don't need to mention. We know what they are. Me personally, I don't care if you do it or not. The fact of the matter is, it's a personal choice. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. Okay, but this is this again. If you do this, like the high intensity training for too long, you're going to completely fatigue yourself, and you're just going to be run down. And you're going to get to a point where you're just completely fatigued, and you will stop responding for that reason, because you're not training hard. Okay, so there's only so long we can do this for. Okay, and I find anything beyond anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, max, 8-week max. If you're doing 8 weeks, you're gonna force yourself. You gotta force yourself to pull away, because one, you're not training. You're just not training as intense. There's no way. You can't do it. Okay, but I like to stick to maybe a 6 weeks of this, where I'm progressing. Okay, making sure I'm keeping an eye on my progress. So I'll do this start for 6 weeks, where I'm progressively trying to either increase the reps or increase the weight, or both. Okay, and I'm focusing on, again, going in the gym, doing either a 2 day on, 1 off, or 1 day on, 1 off, 1 day on, 1 off, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what your split wants to be. Either do chest. My favorite routine usually consists of this when it's this style. Okay, so let's say the start of the week, Monday, I'll do chest and biceps. I think that kind of works really well. Then the next day I'll do legs and abs, and I'll rest. I always rest after legs. Yep. So that Wednesday I'll rest. Thursday I'll come in. I'll do back and triceps, and then Friday I'll do shoulders just to finish up. Done. You fit every muscle group. Then I'll rest over the weekend. From that split, I used to really respond really well from that. And again, you can kind of adapt that a little bit. You could always come in, like you say, rest Saturday, start again Sunday, let's say, if you feel good. You just got to recognize your recovery, personally, because everyone's got different recovery rates, right? But anyway, I would force myself to stop at 6 weeks. Sometimes I will push an 8-week period. That's if I feel real strong, but it's very rare. But I will stick to 6 weeks and force myself to pull back so I don't. So I have fatigued myself before by pushing it too much. Okay, so I actually force myself to go, okay, we've made progress, step back, time to volume. Okay, volume. I'll do this from anywhere, let's say, then I'll pull back. Then I'll go to the volume approach, where I'll just do high reps, I'll come in, I'll spin my wheels, I'll enjoy it again, just get some oxygen flowing, just don't do anything to failure, and just literally pump up. Drop sets, supersets, that kind of thing. And again, just enjoy it. I like to call it taking the muscle I built for a test drive. This is like the endurance side of it. Again, usually, because again, it pulls back. Don't, like I say, because you're not going to failure, you can probably do a little bit more in the week, but I'll still stick to the same routine. That's the other thing people tell me. Okay, what changes exercise-wise? Nothing. The basics exercise are the best, So I could go through them with you if you want me to, guys. I can actually go through the best routine, but right now I want to stick to this. I want you to get a routine down. I want to get you out of that rut and just get you progressing again. That's why I'm doing this, okay? Progressing again, or just getting you started, because this is the stuff I wish I knew when I first started, okay? And hopefully I can give my experience to you so you don't have to go through that. You can get ahead of the curve. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. But yeah, this is the best split, because then you get best of both worlds. You can understand if you're in this for a while, say, okay, look, I'm only going to do this for a couple more weeks and I'm going to pull back. Versus this, it's like, okay, I'm really just like kind of taking my new muscle for a spin, or I'm priming myself. Okay? Then usually, if I do this for a while, I'll do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. And then after that, I will take a break, normally. If it's real intense, I let my body fully recover, and I'll just do cardio for the week. Just do no weights. But it's kind of difficult sometimes, because you got a routine, you really enjoy it, you just want to be in the gym, and you start seeing them results. You're like, it's hard to pull back. I get it. I'm like, I just want to be in the gym, man. But I'm like, no, I know that if I pull back, I can really go intense again and start getting results again. Okay, so that's one of my. You can always tweak this. I mean, some people can only maybe manage 4 weeks, maybe 2, but whatever the fact of the matter is, you may respond like not so good on this, and then great on this, and then come back and be really great because you're not used to it. Okay. But yeah, that's the perfect split, because then, like I say, you get the best of both worlds. There's no argument there. There's no like, oh, this is better, this is better. They both have their value. Okay. So try not to overwhelm yourself with, oh, well, I didn't go heavier today, or I didn't. Let's say you're on a HIIT program, you didn't go so much heavier. You just want to do volume. It's fine. Again, it's just take that on the chin and go, okay, this is just one of that day. Say it was on like, okay, my back's not as good. I wasn't so strong today. Okay. You might need to adapt another recovery day, add another one. Instead of 2 day on, 1 off, you might respond better for 1 day on, 2 off. You just got to play with your body a little bit. And I found that with like training people, that their recovery times are so unique per the individual. There's so many different factors, just different things, because obviously you could train your bicep, let's say, and you could probably train the bicep again the next day, maybe a couple of days. That's localized recovery. But systemically, because obviously you train, you're taking away from an energy source, so your body has to recover from that first. Okay, which brings me to my next topic. Okay, I hope that clears a little bit for you guys and sets a little bit of a good program for you to follow. Just again, I know it sounds so basic. Honestly, the basics sometimes is just the best way to go. But we just forget about that, the basics. Okay, so the other thing I want to, like I said, that's the topic that I was just to speak about now. I want to stay in this kind of flow state. I used to think, obviously, you train and then you build, and then that's it. You go back training.